Flosstube, it's Jen here, not cross Jen again. I am coming to you on a Friday. It's Friday the 16th of October. I've written down 15th on my sheet, but I'm pretty sure that's when I was prepping last night. I'm pretty sure it's the 16th today. My last Flosstube was on the 23rd of September, so it's been a good few weeks, so I've been pretty busy. It's taken me a while. I'm more than the 2 weeks that I've been aiming for, but not to worry because I'm here now, and this is my Flosstube number 10, so I'm on double digits of videos that I will have uploaded to YouTube once I upload this. Hello and welcome everyone. Big thank you for anyone that's joining me new, thanks for checking me out, and if you've been here for a little while and you've come back, then thank you so much. I think you're amazing, and I mean that's why I'm here, that's why I do it, because I love engaging with you guys and reading your comments and watching other people's Flosstubes as well, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm here, is because you guys want to watch me for some crazy reason, which I really appreciate. So Nino has been asleep on his chair all day. He's not feeling so great. Nino, he just wants to put his nose in my coffee. Come here, you. He's not his usual Nino self, so yeah, look, he's like glum, aren't you, mate? What's the matter? What's the matter? He's yeah, he's really not happy. Just doing a weird thing where he's lying in his chair just all quiet. He's like 2 years old, so he's not old, he's not anything. I think he just honestly gets into scrapes when he goes out and about. But that's quite funny. So yeah, he hasn't got off his chair at all day this morning, not even for breakfast. So I am mildly concerned about him, but he is fine. He's drunk some water. But it's funny, isn't it? As soon as I sat down and started talking, he's hopped off the chair. So we'll see what he does now. He's sat at the back door, but he can get out the cat flap if he wants to. And perhaps we'll see Bubbles in a little while. So, yeah, I've said hello, I've said welcome. Flosstube number 10. Let's get into life update. So, as I've said, I've been pretty busy, really busy, so I've actually gone back to full-time at work. So I think all my previous life updates I've been bragging about having Wednesdays off work, but I've gone back to full-time now because work were offering the temporary reduction in hours as a bit of a COVID scheme, and that came to an end at the end of September, and they said if you want to continue part-time then you can like formally request to do that, and I'm sure it would have been okay, but I had a bit of a chat with my boss and he was pretty keen for me to go back to full-time if possible. And it's kind of fair, like over the winter there's less pleasant things to be doing outdoors, I suppose. The weather's a bit grim, and the money will help with a wedding to pay for next year. So yeah, so back to full-time, so I don't have the Wednesdays off anymore, which is also part of why I haven't managed to film a Flosstube earlier on those Wednesday days off. I was going to mention, I don't think I will, briefly. So my job is I'm a VAT advisor, so I work for one of the accounting firms in the UK, advising clients on their VAT obligations. So it's kind of like sales tax for you guys in America, or overseas if you don't have VAT systems, value added tax. And we've been doing loads on Brexit, so I'm completely sick and tired of hearing about it, to be honest. But yeah, there are some VAT and customs duty implications, some quite big ones, of the UK leaving Europe, so we're in a transition period at the moment, but we'll definitely be out by the 1st of January 2021. So yeah, just trying to get clients prepared. And it's funny because we've been trying to talk to them for years, trying to help them to start thinking about it and getting ready. And of course they've all left it until this last couple of months and now urgently need our help like immediately yesterday. So that, yeah, that's been a little bit stressful, but it is interesting, and my favourite bit of the job is speaking to clients, really. So it has been quite good. Where I am is in South Wales, in a county called Monmouthshire, and we are still free at the moment, but I'd say most, I think it's like 2/3 of the rest of the counties in Wales are all in local lockdown and have been for, I think, 3 or 4 weeks now. So that includes the county where my parents live and where a few of my best friends live, so that's been really difficult, knowing that I can't visit them. So kind of hoping that that eases soon, although it's actually looking more like we're going to try a circuit breaker arrangement, which is where the First Minister for Wales wants to put us on like quite a strict 2-week lockdown, probably starting next week, whilst the kids are all on half term so they don't miss out on any studies. I think it's probably a good idea just to kind of curb the spread and the progression of corona, but we will see. And anyway, this is not the platform for moaning about corona and Brexit, really. I think I've had a long week, so it's all just forefront of my mind at the moment. Other life update stuff is we got a new fridge, which is quite exciting. So the old fridge lived in the kitchen but in a cupboard under the stairs, so it had to be like quite a slim fridge to fit in the cupboard, whereas what we've gone ahead and bought is like quite a big freestanding one with like a left half is the freezer, the right half is the fridge, so that's really fun. But we do keep going in the cupboard under the stairs whenever we're trying to like put the milk back or something. We keep expecting the fridge to be in there, but we'll get the hang of that. And that's kind of our 30th birthday gifts to ourselves. So gift to ourselves. So Rob's birthday is the 5th of November, mine's on the 5th of December. We'll both be turning 30 this year. So yeah, we thought that would justify buying a pretty fancy fridge. So that's really good. So that's why there's a cat bed here, because we had a whole rejig of the kitchen, got a dining room table, and then there's just so much cat stuff everywhere. So yeah, cat beds come in here for now, because I feel sad like getting rid of stuff completely, because Nino does sleep in that bed from time to time, and like they do use the cat tower, they do sleep in the cat tower. So yeah, we reached this point where we've accumulated a load of like random things that for Rob and I we wouldn't really need, but because the cats will like occasionally sleep on them, we are keeping these things around for a little while. But hey, we'll sort it, it's fine. Okay, and the only other quick life update thing to tell you about is probably the front garden. So we live on a cul-de-sac, and all the other neighbours are kind of quite a bit older, like lovely retired people that have really nice gardens because they've got time to do them and they know what to do, whereas Rob and I have no idea. So like our back garden is pretty much a jungle, and we're hoping to do a project on that in the next few months. But out the front, we have a reasonably big driveway and then just a little like strip of border which was just absolutely overgrown with weeds. And we did try taking the weeds out, putting a membrane down with some bark, but then that was like the job that Rob did, and he cut parts of the membrane to like go around stumps of bushes and things, and then the weeds just immediately found a way through and it got completely overgrown again. So yeah, we decided to get some proper help with that, and some people came, and it was insane like how quickly these like two blokes jumped out of a van and like bare hands, I don't even think they were wearing gloves, just like tore up all the weeds, all the bushes in the back of the van. And yeah, they properly laid down a really nice thick membrane and a load of nice gravel. So we've got plant pots now out the front, and we went and chose a couple of hopefully low maintenance bushes to use. So I'll insert a couple of pictures here to show you kind of what we've got, what bushes we've got. And I don't know the names of some of them. I know we've got a Hebe bush because Glynis told me that that would be a really easy one to not kill. I've got an all-year sunflower little plant thing, which I'll show you here. That's got like 3 or 4 flowers on it now, so that's pretty cool. So my mum immediately said, well, that won't flower now, it's October time, September, October time, but it totally is still flowering, so that's amazing. What else have we got? A chrysanthemum, which looked really cool when it had buds, and now the buds have like all broken open into beautiful yellow flowers. So yeah, so we're quite enjoying that, but we're trying to start out low maintenance, and we'll leave it now at that like 5 or 6 pots, I think, so we check that we kind of manage to upkeep those quite nicely. So we've already got weeds growing through the gravel. Excuse me. We've already got weeds growing through the gravel, which is a real shame because we thought that the men were going to put down weed killer before the membrane. I'm not sure if they did, and then I wonder if the gravel has gone on and like scraped holes in the membrane for the, I don't know, weeds are just relentless, aren't they? And then we're so careful about weed killer because there's cats, we have cats, everyone has cats around here. So yeah, I suppose any tips you guys have got for me on safe weed killing would be really appreciated. What I want to know is, could I use boiling water? I guess maybe not on the membraney bit now because it would like melt the plastic of the membrane, but for other areas where we've got weed issues, does boiling water kill them? Because I would be really happy going around with the kettle, like I would for ant nests and things. So yeah, any advice gratefully received. Let's go to Q&A. So I've got a couple of questions this time. I've got a question from Clue, High Heel Stitcher, which is my lovely friend Charlotte, who asked me how I plan to FFO my Dobby. And I haven't brought Dobby down. I don't know, he's not in that whip bag. I think he's gone back upstairs. But my Dobby is like a close-up pixelated image of Dobby on black Ada. It's kind of reasonably small that I'm stitching. So that's a good question, Charlotte. And until you asked it, I hadn't really thought about what I would do. But when you asked me, the thought I had was that it's not a big enough piece to warrant professional framing. Or anything kind of expensive or fancy pants. So what I think I will do is try a flat fold type thing. And I've got some examples to show you guys where I did have a go last Christmas at these flat fold finishes. So this one is Team KLT Ollie Owl. So this was a design by Kim of KLT Charting when she used to do a head-to-head challenge and I was in Team KLT and she gave us this chart for free so we could kind of stitch it along during the stitching challenge and it was fun. Stitched on her rum and raisin fabric, which is what my pandemic is stitched on. It's just a gorgeous mottled neutral that I really, really love. But what I was showing you is my epic finish, so look at this. So this is just me trying. So I think I was kind of using the Vonna Twisted Stitcher tutorial on YouTube, but not really, because I've just used one piece of card, a little bit of batting on the top there, and then stretched the piece, and this is my excellent lacing effort, where I didn't have any proper string, so I've probably just used a bit of DMC, orange DMC there. I'm pretty sure that's what that will be. So yeah, it's not perfect by any stretch, but this is something, it's really weird. It's Team KLT, which I don't especially want to like display Team KLT things around my house, really. You know, it means nothing to Rob. And yeah, I asked Kim if she would like want it for her office or her cabin, but she's stitching it herself and she's got, you know, tons of KLT cross stitches. So yeah, at some point I think I will just chuck this because I'm not especially proud to have it displayed, but it was fun to practice the finishing on anyway. And then yeah, this one is super lovely. So this is a John Clayton kit that Rob bought me, and it's a little cottage on like a canal bridge. And we used to live in a village called Bradford-on-Avon in England. And we lived in a little cottage on the canal like this. It was like somebody's holiday rental that they decided to offer for long-term let. So we lived there for a couple of years. And like the big house of the people was like attached. So we lived in the annex. So, you know, it really wasn't just like us on the edge of the canal in a millions of pounds property. But yeah, so Rob chose this one for me and I stitched it when we lived in Bradford-on-Avon. And again, I've laced and I've kind of written on the back what it is, which was smart of me. So this one I like. I have this one displayed on the mantelpiece usually. Just there you can see we have like a floating mantelpiece above the fire. So anyway, yeah, that's what I plan to do with Dobby, I think, is a similar thing. And I guess I might need some black mount board in that case. But yeah, I feel like that's what I'll do. It's not one that I'm like desperate to hang up or to do anything especially with, so he might not get finished for a long while anyway. Excuse me. Okay, Karen, my lovely follower from Denmark, has asked me where I got my head torch from. So I can't remember if I inserted this picture for you guys last time. I probably did actually, because I find it hilarious. So let me insert the picture for you again of me stitching on holiday in North Wales wearing my amazing head torch. And this is really just a bit of a silly question. But Karen was saying like it'd be, you know, it's a nifty space-saving gadget, and it is actually super smart. So as long as you don't look like somebody right in the eyes when they talk to you or ask you a question with your crazy big torch on your head, it's really fun. It's really handy for stitching. So where I got it from, it is just from Amazon. Rob bought it for me for a birthday a couple of years ago, and that was when we lived in Bradford-on-Avon on the canal actually, because I decided, I took it upon myself to enter a half marathon in May one year, a few years ago. Which meant that over Christmas, I was needing to start training, so I didn't leave all my training until May. So I was having long jogs along the canal, and of course it was dark when I was getting home from work. So that's what he bought it for me, was to jog in the dark with a safe light on my head. But yeah, I like to use it for stitching on the go now. And then my last question is from Nicola, who has asked me if I was to stitch a Riolis kit, which kit I would like to stitch. And this is a funny one because there's a set of 4 seasonal cat Riolis kits that we've somehow got ourselves in a little routine where I've already bought Nick 2 of those for previous Christmases or birthdays. So I think she's got a reasonable expectation that there might be another one to come this year for Christmas or for her birthday. And I always say I'd like a go at stitching them because Nick tells me they've got a really different type of thread or silk that they use, like quite a fluffy, soft thread, definitely not a DMC type thing. So anyway, I had a bit of a search last night, and some of the ones I liked, I'll insert a picture here. There was hedgehog in lingonberries, whatever a lingonberry is, which I think is really cute. And then autumn charm, which I really liked the autumnal colours of it. And that I think reminded me of like this John Clayton autumnal colours. I love it when the trees are changing and the leaves are going red and yellow. But then the one that I saw, which made me stop the search completely, was one which is called Cat with Clock, which I'll show here. And it's a cat and a grandfather clock in the picture, and I love clocks. I really, really love clocks. So I lost one of my very best friends to brain cancer when he was 23. That was like, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe? I think it was in 2013. So yeah, 7 or 8 years ago. And after he died, I got a tattoo on the top of my thigh to remember him. It's my one and only tattoo because I just thought I'll never regret a tattoo that is in memory of somebody that's passed away. That was kind of my logic. And he and I used to have like a bit of a joint thing about clocks, and used to listen to a song that was all about clocks and like kind of putting all the clocks away and forgetting time. And it was just, yeah, a really cool song. So yes, I have a clock tattoo. And I love this Riolis cat with clocks. So yeah, that's like the number one. If I was to do a Riolis kit, that's one that I would really love. So yeah, super subtle hints for you there, Nicola. Let's do back from the framer, new section. I'm gonna have to make a new insert for this. And what I've got, and you've probably seen this little peek here. So I've collected 2 pieces back from the framer. I collected them yesterday, and the glare is going to do our heads in, isn't it? This is Raven Queen. Look at the size of her. She's amazing. So pretty glary, but I went for a black frame with a grey mount. And if I zoom her in for you a little bit, she's stitched on a lakeside printed fabric called Winter Branches. So it's only kind of printed on the one side. That glare is just going to be rubbish. But she's super amazingly beaded. You just can't see. Oh, there you go. If I tip it a little bit. How annoying. So yeah, I was really excited to go and collect this piece. And it's a framer that I've used before and that Nicola's used loads of times in Chepstow. And I think he's just completely off his game. So on this Raven Queen, when I looked at her yesterday, I don't know if you'll see it. I don't think you will. But somewhere in the middle of her dress down there, there's a bit of fluff like stuck in between that's got in the glass. I'll insert a picture actually, you can have a little close-up of the fluff. So that made me a little bit upset when I saw that, and I just thought, for one bit of fluff, like, is it worth trying to get him to open it? So this is what it looks like at the back. So it's all taped, you know, taped smoothed down, and it's obviously all been laced and stretched inside. But then I picked up a second piece, so let me try really hard not to smash the glass in these. Hold on, oh God. Ah! Hold that one. Put this one back down. Okay, so this next one, even bigger, is it bigger? I think it's bigger, is Spangled by Long Dog Samplers, which is amazing. This is stitched on a 32 count slightly nutty fabric from Kate at Sparkleys. And so this one, I had a look at a little bit later in the evening yesterday. I had a proper look after I'd found the fluff in Raven Queen, and there are no less than 4 instances where there's a loose fabric thread. Oh, cool, yeah, you can see that. See that? Like a white bit of thread there, which I reckon probably came off when he trimmed Raven Queen's fabric down, actually. But there's one there, let me show you another one. Oh yeah, across the middle here of this red. See that? Right across the middle there. There's 4 of them. And then along the mount board at the bottom, oh, you're not gonna be able to see it. You're not gonna be able to see it, but like right here, there's a bit of like muck of some sort along the edge of the mount board. So yeah, I've realised I need to go and see him and take these back, which he's a really grumpy man. He's a really scary man. So like Nicola usually makes her mum go to get things framed for her. Just, I don't know what it is. He's just got like no personality or no charm at all. You just go in and he's like, okay, yeah, I can do your framing. Yeah, what colour do you like? Yeah, okay, sure, yeah, this is how much it'll be, and this is when you can get it. Like, nothing like nice or friendly around the edges. And I used to find him like really intimidating. And then I got over that and I was like, right, you know what? He doesn't want to make small talk, whatever, it's fine. And I got really used to that. And like when I went yesterday to collect this from him, I was asking him, because he had a delay getting the red mount for the spangled. So I was asking him something about that, about like the delays or whatever. And then he launched into like quite a nice little long story about how, yeah, stuff that his suppliers are behind because of Brexit and changing warehouses and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, feeling really good. I'm making progress with him. But yeah, then I got home and saw that I was actually unhappy with the framing of both of them. And I really don't think it's too much to ask that when he lays the glass over the top, before he like seals it all shut, that he just flicks it back over and checks that there's no bits of tat in there. And when I took them into him, he lays them out on like a board in front of him to measure, to get the right price for the frame. And whilst he's doing that, I always like stare closely in at the fabric and pick out like any obvious cat hairs that I can see. And if there were other cat hairs, if there were cat hairs stuck in there, which I can see 1 or 2 if I'm staring really closely, I would never ever have him like reopen them to get cat hairs out, because that's nonsense. And I think I'm made up of like 5% cat hair anyway, with all the cats in this house. Well, with 2 cats in this house anyway. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. So, and I think that it makes me like a reasonable person, but I think obvious loose bits of thread that are cutting across quite dark stitching, he really should have spotted. Yeah. So yeah, really disappointed actually, and that got me feeling pretty grumpy for a good hour last night once I'd realised that, and I was just kind of thinking about the dread of going to see him. But now that I've shown you guys, my plan is probably to go tomorrow morning and to take Rob along as well for that moral support. I don't know, I don't really expect the man to be cross, but like he will be, when he'd be frustrated that he has to undo his work and pick out some bits of tat from inside the glass. So yeah, like I'm not expecting him to be thrilled, but it'd be good to have some backup for that discussion. Let's do finishes. My legs are really aching, sorry. Try and get them comfy. It's because I sit on the floor. I really should probably not sit on the floor for lengths of time to do this. So, I have a Heaven and Earth page finish. And it's also the whole top row of this. So let me insert the picture here of the full thing. This is All Cats Go to Heaven, artwork by Jim Warren, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And you won't have seen this out of the Q-snap for ages because it's got like its own grime guard and project bag, and it stays in the Q-snap all the time. But I've taken it out because I finished all the way across the top row. So that means I've got all this excess fabric, look, which I can probably trim now. Or I'll come a good few inches over, but I might just trim it off to make a little bit more room in the Q-snap from the excess fabric. I think I've got way too much going down as well, because this is about 24, I think, % finished. It might be 25% actually. I might be a quarter of the way done. So that means if this is like 1 page, there's only 3 more rows to come down. But yeah, let me zoom it in a little bit. So starting over here on the far left, it's really crinkly. I mean, I never iron anything. until it's ready for framing. So yeah, I like this last cat with the blue eyes, and if you guys have been with me a while, you'll remember when I first started stitching that in, and the blue was really, really scary, really bright, and it is still kind of weird, but that is what the artwork looks like, because they are cats in heaven. And then here on this needle minder is PJ. So PJ was our tortoiseshell cat who I'm sort of stitching this in memory of, because she was run over by a car on one of the big roads outside. And I got the call from the vet because she's microchipped. I had a phone call from the vet when I was at my first Milton Keynes retreat. I've probably told you guys this loads of times. But yeah, I got the call from the vet when I was there to say, like, really sorry, your PJ's been brought in. She had an accident and she didn't make it. And I was like in pieces, crying everywhere. And it was so sweet. All the lovely stitchy ladies were coming up and like hugging me, and they barely knew me. And they were like, you're clearly devastated. We feel so sad for you. And then the girls on the table that I was sitting with clubbed together to buy me this chart from Haid, which was amazing. So I've been stitching that since May 2019, 1st of May 2019. So it's taken me, what, a year and a half to get that top row done. So if I carry on at that rate, I've got another 3 years and 3 halves, so 4.5 years to go before I would be finished. But I'm hoping I'd be quicker than that, because what I've realised with these things, these full coverages, is that I need to crack on before my eyes stop working. What I wanted to do as well is to read you guys the Rainbow Bridge poem. So this concept of all cats go into heaven, I'm not religious at all. I don't know if I believe that they're in heaven as such, but I do believe that they've gone somewhere, that PJ has gone somewhere and she's with lots of other cats. And I just wanted to read you this poem. So whilst I read you the poem, I'll insert the like the picture of the whole artwork again. So the poem's called Rainbow Bridge. Just this side of heaven is a place called Rainbow Bridge. When an animal dies that has been especially close to someone here, that pet goes to Rainbow Bridge. There are meadows and hills for all of our special friends, so they can run and play together. There is plenty of food, water and sunshine, and our friends are warm and comfortable. All the animals who had been ill and old are restored to health and vigour. Those who were hurt or maimed are made whole and strong again, just as we remember them in our dreams of days and times gone by. The animals are happy and content, except for one small thing. They each miss someone very special to them who had to be left behind. They all run and play together, but the day comes when one suddenly stops and looks into the distance. His bright eyes are intent, his eager body quivers. Suddenly he begins to run from the group, flying over green grass, his legs carrying him faster and faster. You have been spotted, and when you and your special friend finally meet, you cling together in joyous reunion, never to be parted again. The happy kisses rain upon your face, your hands again caress the beloved head, and you look once more into the trusting eyes of your pet, so long gone from your life, but never absent from your heart. Then you cross Rainbow Bridge together. And I held it together really nicely to read that out, look. So one time when I was at my stitching group, somebody asked me about this like concept of cat, no, someone, I can't remember, one of the girls asked something about Rainbow Bridge, or maybe we were talking about Rainbow Bridge, and then Kim said, do you guys all know what it means? Like what the point of it is? And I think some of us confessed we didn't really know. So Kim got the poem up on her phone and read it out to us, and honestly, a few of us were nearly in tears at the end of her reading it. So yeah, I just thought for those of you that haven't heard that before, it's pretty special. Like I really remember the first time I heard that, and it's lovely. It's just lovely because pets are such a big part of our lives. So yeah, hope that you liked that. So let's do new starts. I just have the one new start, and it's Jingle All the Way by With Thy Needle and Thread. With Thy Needle and Thread, not Fred the man, thread, like we used to stitch with. Yeah, this is the mock-up on the front. And here is where I've got to. So I'm stitching it on a piece of Silver Moon fabric by KLT. It's 28 count even weave, so the crosses are fairly big. And I'm not using the called for hand-dyed threads at all. I'm using a bit of all sorts. So I think the red is DMC 22, one of the new DMC colours, which aren't even that new anymore. I've picked a couple of DMC colours. The white is B5200. And then I've used some Krynic. Oh yeah, that's better, look. Yeah, I've used some Krynic left over from Raven Queen to start to do these snowflakey, starry bits on the back. But yeah, I really just love this one. And I need to finish it quite soon because I need those finishes for my crazy 2021 plans. I have to finish 2 older whips and 1 new whip from this current list of 15-ish new ones that I've been doing in order to earn myself any extra bonus new starts. And so I realised I'd only been starting big things, so I've started this small one so that I've got a chance of getting something finished like this month, ideally, because I've just got to finish the border around. Most of Santa's jacket is done now. So yeah, and I've been stitching that in hand actually, and I was going to have a try of the sewing method, but I haven't been brave enough, so I've just been like rolling it up and then holding it in my fingers. Let me show you. So yeah, kind of like rolling up a bit, and then I hold it between my finger and thumb and then stitch like forwards and back with my right hand. So yeah, it hurts my hand after a little while, but it's fun if the cats come and sit on my lap of an evening, because usually I put my knees up and my Q-snap between like my chest and my knees is how I stitch two-handed. So if the cat sits on my lap, I can't get my knees up. So it's nice to have something to stitch in hand then. So yeah, that's my new start on Jingle All the Way. Let's move into whips. And the first one to show you is Dark Queen of the Sea, Sal, Stitch Along by Autumn Lane Stitchery. So I'll insert the picture here of what the finished part 2 looks like. So you're seeing part 1 and part 2, and you can kind of see the outline of what this mystery woman is going to look like, this mystery queen. I've got a bit of schmick in my fabric there. Oh, and some like dangly threads. I've always got dangly threads, you guys don't mind. So this is where I'm at. So it's stitched on the called for Bewitched fabric from Under the Sea fabric. So it's beautiful purpley, tealy, bluey. And oh, I should insert for you where I was last time. I had pretty much 2 of the fish done, and I'd only had a little start on the 3rd one. So yeah, here we are now with all 3 fish finished, and quite a lot of stitches actually put into the bottom here. So we're reckoning that each part is like in excess of 2,000 stitches. So it's really heavy stitch count. So there's going to be like a whole lot more to come up here, like it comes up to her navel almost at the top there. So yeah, it's a lot of stitching to do, and I just got a little bit fed up with it, to be honest. So I'm not sure when I'll get back to that. So the 3rd part will come out on the 1st of November. So in an ideal world, I'd get this finished, the part 2 finished before part 3 comes out. But I'm really not that fussed. I feel like I stitched on it quite a lot at the start of this month and didn't get, well, I did get a good, that's probably a good like half of part 2 is done there. But yeah, I don't know. It does just feel like there's a whole load still to go, and I don't know if I can really be bothered. But part of my problem is that my Q-snap, like I didn't put this fabric over enough, and I need to come up, so my fabric is too high in the Q-snap. I just need to redo my Q-snap so everything's nice and taut, and then it will be absolutely fine, because it's really fun to stitch. But the other thing to say is to insert a picture for you again of what the whole thing looks like, because we're a little bit confused about like the colours of her skin and the fact that seems to be a bit of a straight line going down her stomach, like down her midriff. So yeah, we're kind of intrigued to see what that ends up being, that extra bit of a line. But we trust Aaron at Autumn Lane Stitchery because he's a complete genius. So I'm sure it's all going to turn out awesome. Okay, so yeah, that was Dark Queen of the Sea, which I stitched on, like I said, a fair bit. Haunting Night, I did stitch on this just for one day because Charlotte Clue High Heeled Stitcher was having a bit of a birthday sale where you had to stitch on something with a shoe. I can't remember if I told you guys this last time. So here's where that is. I've done it again, haven't I? Let me insert a picture for you of the whole piece. I don't think I'm going to show you where I was last time because I only managed 500 stitches, and I'm pretty sure what I did was I finished this top, so I'm pretty sure, oh itchy, sorry, I'm pretty sure I hit the top right of the design there, top right corner, and then at the bottom of Jack-O-Lantern here, there's a whole extra page, so that's kind of it. So it'll come down another page there, but you're seeing as far right as it all goes. This is on Chromatic Alchemy 18 count Ada in the colour Haboob, which is a hilarious word. Using the Core 4 DMC, there's like 6 or 7 colours, it's quite nice. So that was Haunting Night by Doreen Jones. Oh, Emily's House. I stitched on Emily's House. I haven't got that ready to show you. I don't think I did that much, and I certainly didn't get the finish by the end of September that I was trying for, so that was out the window. I have done quite a lot on Pandemic, so I'll insert for you a picture of what the whole piece of Pandemic looks like. And then I will also insert where I was last time, because I think you will see quite a difference from last time. So then here is where I am now. I'm chopping off a tiny bit at the top, but not a great deal. So what I've worked on is like loads of bringing these bands down, and then quite a bit of stuff up in here as well. So you can see we've got a little red bird there. And this is the top of a red reindeer or a deer, because you can see his antlers and his face. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, as a general rule, I've been using the red to do any animals, and then just a few other accent bits like the band. The red is variegated DMC 115. And this is stitched 1/1 on 28 count, so teeny tiny crosses. So what always happens with this is when I first pick it up, my eyes just find it hard work, like really unpleasant to stitch, and it's a bit of a slog. But then if I carry on for an hour or so, I get in the groove of it, and then I don't want to put it down, and I do find it really enjoyable. But yeah, every time I first pick it up, I'm quite slow. So my plan was, so this is page 1, and then page 2 next to it on that side. And then instead of carrying on to page 3, I've come down, this is like page 7. And I think I'm a little bit more border needs to extend down, and then that'll be the bottom of page 7. And then page 8 as well, I've started, because that's what this stuff is. So I'm a little bit behind trying to copy Nadine's plan. That's Nad's X-Stitch, and she is finishing a page every month. And we started in July, so July, August, September, October. I should have all these 4 pages finished by the end of October if I was going to be keeping up with that, which, again, I'm just not too sure if I will. So what I did for the start of October was try and kind of catch up on these sales, try to do this Pandemic stitching and the Dark Queen of the Sea stitching, but I've not been loving it, to be honest, really not been loving it. So I feel pretty done with both of those for a good couple of weeks now. What else have I got to show you? I've got my travel piece, which is a Dimensions kit called Savannah Birth Sampler. So that's what it's going to look like. And I'll try to insert a picture for you from sometime before my last Flosstube video, I think. Because again, I've done a fair bit on this. So I took it away with me. So here is where I got to. And this is the other piece that I stitch in hand because it's nice, stiff Ada. So yeah, I have done loads because I finished out this lion. So I don't think like his beige of his face wasn't finished, the red of his mane wasn't finished, the beige on the back legs, I hadn't completely finished that because it's really blocky stitching, so I do get fed up of it quite quickly. So like I stitch a couple of strands of light green in the background, then I do a bit of beige in his face. I've done a bit more brown monkey as well, so the monkey's tail like curls up at the top here. Yeah, I'm powering through with that because like I keep saying, the baby that this was for the birth of is like a 1.5 years old now, so I really need to get on with it. And it's funny, but because I said I was going to do this for him, I don't feel right to give it to a different baby or anything, or to just give up stitching it, because it's for baby Arthur. So yeah, I'm going to keep cracking on with that, and I do enjoy that for travel stitching. Oh, the other whip I wanted to show you was my diamond painting. I don't know where I've put it. Oh, do you want to just see my jeans? I've actually got trousers on today. Okay, 2 seconds. Oh, my legs are really hurting. Really hurting. Okay. Boop. Here I am. Back again. Itchy nose, Flosstube itchy nose. So this is my diamond painting. Annoyingly, still got the cellophane kind of protecting the top of it. So if I peel this down, then you'll see what I've done so far, which looks pretty good. So it's Jack and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. And they are round drills. And yeah, I would say I've nearly done half now, haven't I? Because I've done loads of this, and then you can see where the cellophane is still sticking to the canvas. That's where I haven't peeled it back yet, and I haven't filled in all the diamonds. Can you see this? Yeah, you can see that here, look. So you can see where it's like a sticky square with a number on. That's where I've still got diamonds to place. It's cool, huh? So I just did this for a little bit yesterday. Like I said, I just haven't completely been feeling my stitching and my sals. And we were watching the David Attenborough programme on Netflix, which is quite a tough watch actually, quite emotional. And yeah, whilst watching that, I thought I would grab my diamond painting. And this is how I organise my beads. So I just bought this like plastic storage box, probably on Amazon or eBay. Use a Sharpie to number the top of each one. So they come out in like 4 at a time. And then you can open each individual pot, which is pretty fun. And yeah, I would have just bought this diamond painting kit on Amazon. I think, in fact, what I did was bought it for my niece when she was like 6. And I bought it, and then I did open it up to have a look whether I thought she'd be able to do it or if it would be too fiddly for her. And then because I'd opened it up, and I think I did conclude it was too fiddly for the one Christmas, I decided to keep it to do myself. So it came with the tools to use. So there's a pink pen thing. This plastic tray is pretty smart. So it's got ridges in it. So when you tip all your beads in, you shake it, and then as you keep shaking it, they land flat because they're kind of like dome shaped. So they've got a flat bottom and then like the dome that you see. And what you do is you use the hollow inside this nib of the pen to pick up the round dome of the bead. Or the diamond. It's called a diamond. I mean, it's plastic resin, I think. And then you pop it down like flat bit onto the sticky bit of the canvas. And yeah, it's really fun. It's way quicker than stitching. And I've got this little pink blob of wax stuff in there. So you fill like your hollow nib of this pen with the pink waxy stuff, and then it helps like stick to the domey bit of the bead every time you're picking one up. And yeah, it lasts ages, the wax. So yeah, that's all I've used, that tiny top corner, and I've nearly finished the whole half the painting. So yeah, it's good fun. I don't love it more than cross stitching, probably because I think a lot of detail does get lost. Let me just show you again. So I think like from a distance you can tell what it is, but like, I don't know, up a bit closer, you know, that there's some wacky colours in the side of Jack's head or whatever. It's just, I don't know, it's not like the most detailed, amazing thing, but it's a really fun, different craft to do for a while for a change. Okay, so that is all of my whips. Let's move along to haul. And within haul, I've just got an absolute shed load of fabric to show you. So I've got this, which is called Marigold Blush. It's the KLT fabric of the month from, oh, it's not, it's limited edition from August. Hold that back. So it's just a really subtle, blushy peach. Really, really nice. And I helped name that actually because Kim had come up with marigold and then was trying to think of what word to go after marigold. And we were all suggesting gloves, like washing up gloves, which she didn't especially appreciate. And then I was driving home in the car and it came to me that blush would be good because it's like a mottled, peachy, like when your cheeks flush when you blush. So yeah, that's a 32 count even weave fat quarter. The next ones I got, and they're really rustly, sorry, because they're in this new, like, what is it? Environmentally friendly, compostable, supposedly, plastic. So these, I'll show you them both at the same time. These are 2 pieces from Chromatic Alchemy. This one is 18 count Ada. This one is, it'll be 32 count linen. And these are the colour Haboob again, which is what I just showed you. Let me try and put them together and try to be quiet about it. Which is what this Haunting Night is on. And the Haunting Night is what made me want to buy it, because you can see Haunting Night is like browns. I love neutral browns, but I've got quite a few and I've got more to show you in a second. But this is like browny, grey, greeny, mossy almost. And I just really loved how this came out. And this is an 18 count Ada, which is why I hoped that the 18 count Ada I bought might be similar. But it's just, you know, it's just different. It's just dyes change, don't they? Colours of dyes change a little bit, or her whole range. This might be from years and years and years ago, to be fair. So yeah, they're, in any case, like, they're lovely neutrals, and it's quite cool to have another big bit of 18 count Ada, which I do like to use from time to time, and then some 32 count linen, which is pretty standard for me. Okay, then crinkling again, sorry. I've got 2 fat halves, my first ever fat halves from Sparklies. This one is called Butterscotch and this one is called Burnt Umber. And I don't really want to take them out, but yeah, you can see like yellowy shade for Butterscotch, browny shade for Burnt Umber, and there was a third one that she came out with, but I thought I better start with 2, and they're both 32 count even weaves because that's my go-to colourway, and then just, yeah, like quite beefy big bits of fabric, so they'll keep me going for a nice long while. So basically I don't need any more neutrally toned fabric for the longest time. The last thing that I bought was another big old piece of 25 count Lugana, easy count Lugana from Zweigart, which I bought from Lakeside Needlecraft here in the UK because they do custom cuts, and I needed this to be, I think it was like 50 by 70 centimetres or something. It's quite big, so like, yeah, best part of a metre. Is that right? It might even be like 100 by 70 or something. I can't totally recall now. I've just put a little label in the front saying Home Sweet Home to remind me that I'm going to use this to stitch Home Sweet Home, which I'll show you in a bit actually, because I'll tell you about it in plans. So that's the end of haul. Let me do Stitchy Kindness. I've literally got a hair in my coffee. Hold on. You're going to have to just keep looking at my Stitchy Kindness divider whilst I get that hair out and have a slurp. Alright, so for Stitchy Kindness, I forgot to show you last time that my friend Nicola bought me a scissor fob, a Hufflepuff scissor fob. So get a look at that. Oh look, you can see my ring extender thing. This is kind of interesting if you haven't seen one before. So my engagement ring is a teeny bit on the big side for me, which is good because that means it's future-proofing for when my hands get like poofy and bigger as I get older. But you can buy something, it's like plastic telephone cord almost, that you can snip quite small and wrap it around the bottom of the ring, and then it puffs out, like it stops the ring from being able to move around as much. So yeah, close up on that. But yeah, what I've got is like a Hufflepuff house shield, house symbol, and then yellow and black and clear beads on the scissor fob, which I really love. And Nicola bought herself a matching one for Slytherin, because she's Slytherin, I'm Hufflepuff. What was I going to say? She got these from Don't Step on Your Needle, which has a Facebook shop, and I think, or like a Facebook page, and an Etsy shop as well. So that's Don't Step on Your Needle, which is funny, which I think means that she does a lot of needle minders. But yeah, super love that. And then the other Stitchy Kindness I wanted to show you is Stitchy Kindness that I probably mentioned in like my 4th or 5th Flosstube video, because it's an engagement card from my amazing friend Claire, Seaside Stitcher, here on Flosstube. And it says, "You're getting meowied." And it's got cross-stitched kitties, and it's all like fancy, lovely cardboard stacked up. It's literally amazing. And what happened was, we got engaged on the Saturday, told some of the guys, told our friends. Then Claire must have cracked on stitching this over that weekend. and by Tuesday it arrived here, so it must have gone in the post first class with her on like Monday afternoon. So that's how quickly she got it all stitched up and assembled, assuming that she did stitch it from scratch, which she may not have, but I'm guessing she probably didn't like stitch engagement cats for anyone else before and then just hold on to them. But yeah, how amazing is that? So we're super excited, super happy with that. So I wanted to show you guys immediately, but I lost it. I couldn't find this card for a while, and I think it's because we had it along this string of fairy lights, which goes from one end of the living room to the other. I think we had it on the part closest to me here, where we've got our fish tank, and when you lift up the fish tank lid to feed the fish, it can knock the cards off the top of the fairy lights, and I think that's what happened, is we'd knocked it down, and like, I think Rob did it, knew that he'd knocked it down and that a couple of cards had gone down the back, and then like never told me and didn't dig them out until weeks later. So yeah, I really wanted to show that to you because I was so excited when I received that, and Rob was really happy too. Like, he can appreciate that good work goes into cross stitching. Right, next up finally is plans. And plans, it's funny because my last video was a plan extravaganza, and then I kind of didn't stick to any of the plans just because life got in the way, like everybody always says, and sometimes, like, I think I enjoy the act of planning, and I don't usually mind too much if I don't fulfill my plans and don't do what I hoped I would do. But yeah, I'm just a little bit like stitchy bug is all over the place at the minute. But what my upcoming plans are is to say I've used the first half of October to really try with the SALs, and I've made good progress, but I'm kind of done with them for now. And what I really want to do is dark October, lovely Halloween stitching. So I said I was going to start this on the 13th, then I just didn't, but this is Sleepy Hollow by Hello from Liz Matthews, which I did show you probably the last couple of videos. But I'm really desperate to start this, and I did actually make myself thread drops on a hoop, and I also had Rob photocopy the pattern for me, so I'm literally ready to go. I just need to power on and do it, I really do. So I need to get that one started at some stage. I want to do more work on my Haunting Night, because it is October, and because if I power on, if I set my mind to it, this stitches up real quick, this guy. So yeah, definitely crack on with that. I've also got my Jack's Bash. I'll save myself having to insert a picture, so I will show you this. For some reason it's printed like weirdly on the Plum Street booklet, but this is Jack's Bash by Plum Street Samplers. My first ever Plum Street. I bought this chart on eBay, and I'm stitching it on 36 count vintage Edinburgh. This piece is pretty massive actually, isn't it? There's no way this is going to take up the whole piece. And you'll have seen this before because this is me just telling you my plan to stitch some more on this. But yeah, here's where I've got to. So like top left corner is kind of done, and I'm using mostly the called for Gentle Arts, but I couldn't get 4 of them, so I am substituting DMC for some of them. I think this might be Raven. Should I grab it? Yeah. Oh, here you go, it's right here, look. So I keep this in my Santa hats for some reason. Lovely little plastic thing. And then I got the thread drops. Hey, yeah, it is. Gentle Arts Raven. Good work, Jen. So yeah, you can see these were the called for Gentle Arts. Pretty beautiful autumnally colours. And then these are the ones where I've made my own little crappy thread drops. I'm getting better at thread drops. It's a trial and error with various hole punches and cardboard. But yeah, those are the 4 DMC colours that I'm using to go with it. So yeah, I really enjoy stitching that, so I'm excited to get back to that. And this was one of my newish starts this year, so that's in the list of 15. So if I can finish that, and along with 2 other finishes from like any of my older whips, then I can earn a new start as well. So I feel like that's quite a strong contender for something that I could finish pretty soon. What else is my plans? Oh, so on retreat weekend, which I think will be Saturday the 25th of October, so next weekend, I am going to start my Aframov Haid that I've been telling you guys about for ages, which we were always planning to do. There's a few of us having a new Aframov start full coverage. It doesn't have to be Haid because Artisy have charted his artwork as well. Let me insert a picture for you. So it's evening that I'll be starting, and I've got everything that I need for that. I've got the kit and the fabric to get cracking with that. And I definitely will have that start because lovely Carol, I think she's Christmas Carol on Instagram. She doesn't film Flosstubes, but you'll see her on the Heaven and Earth page quite a lot, or on Charting Creations or Patterns by the Cross Stitch Studio, because she basically stitches full coverage pieces, mostly Christmas ones. She's done loads of Donna Gelsingers from Heaven and Earth Designs, and yeah, her stuff is absolutely amazing. And she is also starting the same Afromov, this evening one, so I'll be super inspired to like stitch loads on that weekend when she started it too, because she's a really quick full coverage stitcher. The other start that I have planned, which I kind of agreed with Nadine, Nad's X Stitch, is to start Home Sweet Home, which I bought when the Cross Stitch Studio was having a sale. So I'll insert the picture here of the full piece. And I told you about it last time, so I just saw it and thought that I could justify this as like a new start that I don't have to earn from finishes, because it can be my gift to Rob and I for like our wedding and our engagement. It's a beast, absolute beast of a full coverage. I think the first however many pages are just brown background of this bedroom wall where the couple is sleeping on the bed. But yeah, I absolutely love the image. So I have agreed with Nadine that we might start that on the 5th of November because that's Rob's 30th birthday. And I was kind of excited to start that soon, and Nadine wants to restart her Heaven and Earth design, so we thought we could have full coverage on the 5th. There was like a hashtag in there, there was a bit of a thing, as well as it being Rob's birthday for me, which will make it poignant. So yeah, we might have that full coverage start on the 5th of November, but I'm hoping I'll be back to see you guys shortly before that, because I do want to try and keep up with fortnightly videos. That's everything from my notes. I've actually shown you loads and loads of projects today. It's quite funny. I felt like I wasn't getting around to filming because I hadn't been stitching that much. I hadn't been doing a lot. And it does still feel like I've showed you a load of the same projects that I always show you. But yeah, I've also got some new things to start, and I'm excited to pull out some others. And now that I've shown you my Kitty Heaven, that finished top row, I can completely put away that full coverage piece. And I think I want to get my freebie Maui Princess back out maybe and stitch a bit of a chunk more on her before I start the Afromov. So yeah, I'm going to try and have some different projects to show you next time, hopefully. Boom. Okay, we're at like 57 minutes, which is pretty long. It's Friday afternoon, so I do need to actually go back and do another couple of hours of work before I edit this. But have a lovely weekend, everybody. Hope things are okay where you are, and yeah, especially that people that live in the UK aren't completely ashamed of being British at the moment like I am with the Brexit and the COVID nonsense that we seem to be going through. But yes, have a lovely stitchy time until I see you again, and my cheesy sign off is keep stitching.